This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I'm Dave Riccio, here along with Matt Allen, and together we are your KTAR car guys, heard every Saturday from 11 to noon right here on News 92.3. At Bumper Radio, we're helping you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you got car questions, we've got car answers, and we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827. 602-277-KTAR. And today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, we're going to be taking one of your emails from bumpertobumperradio.com. Open phones and texts, of course. And are you surprised by the cost of auto repair? And Matt, I don't think we can cover this in one show, so we're going to have to split it up in two. Because I got to thinking about it. I mean, back in I picked the 1982 Chevy Suburban, okay? Mm-hmm. The 1982 Chevy Suburban didn't have a cup holder in it.
Oh, my good Lord, how did we survive?
How did we survive, right? Where do we put our thirst busters? We had to keep them between our legs, and we hit the brakes, it was all over the pedals. You know, so...
Hey, remember thirst busters? They used to be behind the counter at 7-Eleven. They used to get them for you.
Did they really?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't remember that. You're older than I am.
Yeah, a little bit.
But, I mean, if I started thinking of all the technology that's been added to the car... Cup holders, no airbags. There was no clear coat even on the paint. ABS brakes, what was that? You know,
power windows. I mean, that stuff was, an option.
Fuel injection was just barely coming on the scene. There was certainly no traction control. Power steering, if you remember, was an option. That's when they had the Brody knob. You know, you turn the Brody knob. Yeah. The old bus driver. No rear disc brakes. Cabin filter? What the heck is a cabin filter? They didn't even have those things. No 9-speed automatic transmissions, because if you compared the Chevy Suburban of 1982 to the Chevy Suburban of today, it's like, I mean, night and day.
And then when there was technology, like the emissions control, I mean, you look back, that was so crude and rudimentary and was groundbreaking at the time, but look how horrible and bulky
it was
and
so
big
worthless.
And heavy it was.
And they didn't really have the computer at the time to make that thing work, so that's what was missing. But, there was no thermometer in the dash to tell you how hot outside it was. Everyone's got that. You see all those pictures. Come in May, you're going to start to see pictures on Facebook of people's digital readout.
Even little things, the third brake light.
Oh,
It wasn't even until 84, I think.
Power windows, tire pressure monitoring. I mean, that's one of the more recent things. And now they got, if you look at the modern car, it's got active cruise control. I mean, it'll hit the brakes if you are looking at something. If you're looking at your phone and you miss something, it'll hit the brakes. So we went ahead and looked back, and we picked a 1985 Honda Accord. And it was $9,000 all loaded up with all the options.
Trying to figure out, it wasn't, it was starting at price. It was like $8,800 in 85. So we went into the consumer price index of 85 and compared it to today's dollars. And it was about right. I think it converted it to around 19 or 20,000. And you can get a new Accord starting at 22, I think.
Right.
They probably don't have one of those on the lot.
That's the one they advertise.
Nobody wants one. Nobody wants that one. That was made. So the car is relatively the same price, graded on the scale, if you will, or on that consumer price index. But the cost of the repairs, they're shocking at times. And what are we fixing? There's so much technology. There's more stuff to break. The maintenance and stuff is less often.
Well, I would say this. This is the biggest difference, is that the average repair bill today, relatively, has gone up considerable. But the average amount of trips to the shop over the course of the year has gone down considerable. So the trip to the auto shop is going to cost you more, but it happens a whole lot less frequent. And the other thing, if you remember back in 1982, you ran your Suburban to 100,000 miles. It was darn near worn out.
Are you kidding? If it made it to 100, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, there was something getting overhauled in 80,000 miles. There were front end parts. Getting replaced in that time frame. The
other thing I remember is if my parents had a Suburban like that, and if they were going downhill with the wind at their back, they could almost get it to 6 miles per gallon. I mean, that was That was really good gas mileage at that time. So the technology has changed so much. The car does so much for you. And just the basic things, the cup holder, the third brake light.
You like that cup holder thing.
I know, because it, we take it for granted, but cars have cup holders in them. They didn't. You could get one of those things you could hang from the glove box that had a little deal.
Right, a little plastic.
Yeah,
man.
I got one of those on my bicycle, so when there's a booze cruise, I can.
Well, but then you think about the maintenance and stuff. We talked about it being more expensive. It wasn't very many years ago. You take that Honda Accord, it had a 30,000-mile service. You were doing spark plugs, valve adjustment, fuel filter, clean and adjust the rear brakes, maybe flush the cooling system, service the transmission.
At 30,000 miles.
At 30,000. At 30,000 miles now, man, there's not much.
You just take a moist rag and wipe it around the rubber strips between the door when it closes.
Well, yeah, you got the cabin air filter because you're going to replace that once a year. You're probably going to service the transmission if you want to make the thing last.
Yep.
But otherwise, we're not changing spark plugs.
No.
We're not adjusting valves as often. But, well, we do have a whole new set of problems. You take your direct injection, those kind of cars. So with the technology, great, we fix some things and we break some things or create situations now that we didn't know about. And that's where some of the expense comes in.
Well, and people are surprised because they have this car that they've driven for 100,000 miles. And they're like, what do you mean it's broken? That car's been perfect. Yeah, it broke down at the first time 100,000 miles, and the breakdown may not even. I would say less often are cars getting towed in. Would you agree with that? I mean, because lights and buzzers and whistles and stuff go off to let you know have a problem before you have something.
Early warning systems, and they're so expensive now. I think as well, people maybe they're taking a little better care of the car. I mean, you used to take your Honda owners of the '80s. Oh boy, they were religious on maintenance. I mean, it was. Boom, 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 right on the money. And that's what made those cars such great cars. It was the personality and the traits of the owners. There were some of these other cars that were not bad cars, but they were marketed to people that maybe shouldn't have been driving a car or didn't afford one or couldn't afford to, really take care of it. So that's what got some other cars' reputations.
You bring up a point that I would love if I just had extra time. I would sit down and do a research project on the personalities of the people that buy the Toyota Camry versus the personalities of the people that buy the Chevy Malibu versus and just go down the list. And one of the things we can tell in our shop is we do stereotype a bit. I'll admit a little bit. But a Lincoln Navigator owner is going to be different than a Ford Expedition owner. Pretty much the same car.
Right.
But they're going to handle it differently.
Well, I'm sorry to cut you off, but you take your Malibu versus your Accord. The Accord owner is more tuned, something about that person is more tuned into maintenance and taking care of things, where it seems to be, if you paint with that broad brush, the Chevy Impala owner just drives the car.
Gas and go. But I would say the modern car people are so used to, because in the old days, you got your spark plugs changed at 30,000 miles. You were used to going to the shop. People are not used to going to the shop anymore, especially some of these younger people. Maybe this is their first or their second car, whatever. They think gas and go. And the thing you got to realize is if you take care of it in that first 100,000 miles, it's going to make the second 100,000 miles be a lot cheaper.
Well, it's funny you talk about the people. And I think it's just natural instinct, the reaction. But does the light bulb ever go off? You tell them something about the car, and we don't want to hear the problems that we have. I don't want to look at the scale when I step on it. I don't want to. There's all kinds.
He doesn't want to look at a lot of things.
The mirror, geez, for sure. But you screwed me up, Dave.
I know. CMS can't remember. CRS.
Oh, man, we're going downhill now, and I don't even know where it's gone to.
But, yeah, different owners, the maintenance of the cars, all that stuff.
But the person that comes in on the 100,000 miles, and you say, this is worn out, and you need this. I just can't believe it. And they're questioning your integrity, it feels like.
That's what it feels like.
They're like, I've never done anything to this car, and now all of a sudden, blah, blah. I'm like, did you just hear what you just said? It's like the person pulling a cup of coffee off the pot and taking a drink going, it's hot. Well, yeah, it just came out of the stove, stupid. Of course it's hot. You know, of course your car's broken. You just drove it for 110,000 miles, and admittedly yourself, you didn't do anything.
It's like bringing it back to tires. Why would I need new tires? They've been great for 30,000 miles.
Right.
Well, yeah, they wear out at some point.
But it's like take another one. Your battery. The car's going to last 100,000 miles. Your battery is not going to get to 100, right?
And especially if you're new to town, you may come from a lot gentler climate. But I tell you what, batteries in Arizona, they do not last. I mean, it is something that happens. People, you go to the car, click. So we're testing every battery that comes through the shop, and people are surprised that sometimes they don't even give them warning signs that they're going dead.
Yeah, it used to go, and then you kind of knew. I think if you're really in tune, you can tell. So if you need a battery, Interstate Batteries is a battery brand you can trust. InterstateBatteries.com is where you can find them. You can find them at any of the bumper-to-bumper radio shops, which you can find all of those shops at bumper-to-bumperradio.com, and I'm pretty sure everybody does free battery testing these days.
Well, the thing about batteries, they're such a big component of our business. So when we're going to pick a battery company, we got to pick a good battery company. That's why we pick Interstate. So anyhow, when we come back, we got open lines at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And if there's a repair on your car that you're thinking about and you're like, I don't even believe it's that expensive, don't hesitate to call on that, or if you got noise or a squeak or some intermittent problem, give us a call. You listen to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys, on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
The dawn of the U.S. swing starts here, where past, present, and future converge in the desert, paying homage to the founders of the LPGA. March 14th to 19th at the Wildfire Golf Club at JW Marriott Desert Ridge Resort and Spa. General admission tickets just $20 online in advance. Hospitality tickets starting at $35. Good food, cold drinks, and great golf at the 2017 Bank of Hope Founders Cup. Tickets are on sale now at LPGAFoundersCup.com. That's LPGAFoundersCup.com. Get your tickets today. Your seat awaits.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
And you can call us anytime, at least from 11 to noon, at 602-277-5827. 602-277-KTAR. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR car guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio. And it is our complete job for this hour to simply help you with your car, educate you on your car, teach you something about your car, because it's the second biggest expense in your life, and you need to know something about it so you can reduce the stress. It shouldn't be a stressful place. It should be something you build into your life. It's just a normal deal.
I would argue that for many, many people, it is the most expensive investment they've made, because there's a lot of listeners that don't own their home. There's nothing wrong with that. It's my car. People say, "Oh, that car's a piece of junk." Hey, you know what? It's my piece of junk. Mm-hmm. It's the one that I have,
right?
And I got to get to work with it, and this is what transports my life. So it doesn't matter what it is. We want to take care of it for you.
Well, we got some people on the line. We've got Danny in Phoenix, and no.
I think Danny's on the phone with Bree right now.
Oh, okay.
But we could probably take him now. Yeah? All right, we're going to try this. I'm doing something a little different because Dave doesn't like it when I use the computer to answer the phone, but I don't even know if the phone is going to work. Danny, you there? See, Dave, what happens?
No, you're just gonna have to learn a new technology, Matt.
I don't know. We'll try it one more time. Danny.
The one on the right side, the number 1 button.
Yep.
There we go. Hey,
See,
Danny, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
You guys gave me bad information. Oh, it's the one on the outside.
We said if it doesn't work, just push the other one. That's what we told you.
I did. Now it's working.
Cool.
What do you got going on, Danny? How can we help you?
All right, man. So, I've got a 2012 GTI, and I've put a few mods on it and whatnot. But change my own oil, do maintenance whenever it's required. But every time I'm around 4,000 RPMs, I hear this really intense whistle, and I'm not sure what it could be. I'm thinking of taking it to the VW dealership, but I'm not sure if I kind of want to, like, pay for the cost for that inspection. So do you have any tips on what it might be?
Is it automatic or manual?
It's a 6-speed manual.
Okay.
What
Whistle noise at 4,000 RPMs.
turbocharged?
Yep.
So it does it when it's on boost or off of the boost?
It's on boost, but it's not the turbo whistle turbo. It's kind of like, it almost sounds like a coach's whistle from like a soccer game or something.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess I'd be looking under the hood. There's a turbo cutoff valve. There's a little valve that, you hear the people that want to tune their turbo cars, and it kind of chirps when they shift, or some people call it a waste gate. That could be leaking. I would probably be looking for a vacuum leak, or in that case, it might actually be a pressure leak in some of the intake manifold tubing and such. So when it comes on boost, it's going to blow and
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it nice that we have smoke machines nowadays that we didn't have in the past? When we go to looking for a vacuum leak or some sort of leak, we just pump some smoke in it. I remember in the old days smoking a cigar and blowing it into the gas tank to find out where the thing was venting into the atmosphere. But someone's going to smoke that out, whether it be the VW dealer. You guys at Virginia Auto Service, you guys work on Volkswagens all the time.
Tons of them, yeah.
It's like it's not. There's so many of them on the road if shops aren't working on them. But you guys, literally, it's one of the things you specialize in.
You do, Danny. The other thing you do, take the engine cover off. Just go around and look. Just look for things that look out of place. Maybe a vacuum tube that has come off. A lot of those make bends and they might crack in certain places, and you might even hear it making a little suction noise with just idling.
We had a BMW come to our shop that just whistled from the front of the transmission. And what it was, the PCV wasn't working, so it was sucking air right through the rear main seal.
Right.
And that's what was doing it. So I was thinking of an air leak.
Sounds just like and it could be an oil separator. It could be all kinds of things. It's just someone's going to need to get in there and figure it out.
All right, thanks for the call, Danny. We're going to go with William in Mesa. He's got a 1999 Chevy Silverado 4x4. How can we help you, William? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, how you doing today?
Great.
Problem I have is there's a control box that's mounted inside the frame underneath the truck where all the brake lines run to. And this thing, whenever I had to pull the fuse on it because it's continually running, and eventually it will run down my battery, and it's part of my ABS system.
Right.
Is there a rebuild? I don't even know what this thing is called, but is there a rebuild kit for it?
Well, yes and no. Are you handy on your car? Do you do your own repairs and stuff?
I do. I do most of the work on my truck, no internal engine work. By the way, this thing's got 251,000 miles on it, and it just purrs like a kitten.
Barely broken in. So
Very
somewhere
good.
along the life of that car, it's been well maintained.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when you maintain these cars, you can get a lot of life out of them.
William,
That's the key is to maintain it, yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
And what's happening there, that's an anti-lock brake control module that's failing, and it's probably just engaging and leaving the pump on. The solid state, just the componentry inside their sticks, they usually have bad solder joints, and you don't have to replace that whole component. Go on Google, go search, and you can find a place that you can either buy a rebuilt one, or you can take that off. There's 4 bolts, I think, that hold it on, screws. You can remove that and send that out to a place that can repair that. You can drive it while it's being repaired, just protect the electronics and such. You do not have to open any of the hydraulic lines at all. And then you just plug it right back in. But that's assuming that's the problem. It's not that much to take it off and send it out. They'll do the test, repair it, put it back in, and it will probably fix the car.
Thanks so much for the call, William. 602-277-5827. Looks like we're going to go out to Chandler on a 96 Toyota Tacoma. I think I don't know how to pronounce it. How do we pronounce your name there?
It's Felix.
Felix.
Okay. There's a little typo. Anyway, what can we do for you on your Tacoma?
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Fantastic.
Hey, question. My Tacoma, I can't get it to start when it's on hot. So, for example, in the morning, first thing in the morning, it'll start like it's brand new. And then I get to work, and if I wait after 10 minutes of being off, it won't start. But if I wait past about 45 to 50 minutes, it'll start easily.
What do you mean it won't start? Does it crank over and turn over like it's out of gas? It just crank.
Exactly.
And
And I've tried several things already. I've changed 2 of the coolant cam sensors. I did my fuel pump. I've been Googling all kinds of stuff. I've had this issue for about 6 months already. Right. And I've Googled, and I get all kinds of answers from, hey, check your tire pressure to replace the engine. So I can't get a straight answer.
Well, and I don't think you're going to get a straight answer until somebody that knows what they're doing actually does real diagnostics and not what Dave calls Google-nostics.
Google-nostics.
I mean, the Google and the Internet and all these YouTube videos, they're great if they're right. But you can go find any symptom and find any repair, and anybody has experienced something, and there's all the Internet experts to help you with that. You've probably spent more money.
Way more money.
Trying to, making unnecessary repairs than just figuring out the problem. So you go if it cranks over and won't start, we call that typically a hot soak issue. But usually they'll clear if it's a fuel injector problem or carbon buildup or something like that. But we need to know when it's not starting. Is there fuel pressure? Is there spark to the spark plug from the ignition coil? Is there fuel injector pulse? Mm-hmm. Is there a signal getting to the injectors? You have to have pressure, you have to have fuel, and you have to have spark at the right time to make the engine run. So first we need to find out which one of those things is missing. And then from there, we backtrack it. So have to do some testing. It's time probably to spend some money on testing so you don't waste money on repairs.
One of the things that people hate, I feel, Matt, this is my observation, and I think it's a pretty good one because it's mine. But people dislike diagnostic charges. I think it rubs them wrong. Well, that's the hard part of our job. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just nuts and bolts. And you can do a bad job in nuts and bolts because I've seen poor workmanship. Like when we're building transmissions, you can drive a bushing in or you can drive a bushing in right. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's just kind of a craftsman thing to it.
You can be a craftsman or you can be a caveman.
Yeah, exactly. So if you rebuild a transmission with a hatchet, that's not exactly good. But the nuts and bolts are the nuts and bolts, and we all know how to. Something should be right. But the diagnostic part of the deal is the hardest piece of it. So anyhow, when we come back, we're taking more phone calls at 602-277-5827. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Hi, I'm Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission. Well, you may have come to know us for being a transmission expert. What you may not know is that our customers regularly ask us why we don't perform repairs to the rest of the vehicle. You guys are so great. Why work on just the transmission? Well, the requests became hard to ignore, and 3 years ago, we began to build an infrastructure to perform general automotive repair. We weren't going to do general repair if we couldn't be great at it. So in 2013, we began the soft opening of Tri-City Auto Repair on Smith Road. We brought on ASE Master Technicians to work side by side with our Master Transmission Technicians. The combination of the best in both of these trades has created a synergy that allows us not only to fix your transmission, but to service and repair your whole car, and to do it well. Let's face it, the modern car has become so integrated. We believe all of our expert knowledge puts us ahead of the curve. Find us at TricityTransmission.com or TempeAutoRepairShop.com. That's TempeAutoRepairShop.com.
There's nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock for Kurt's Auto Repair. Family owned and operated and bumper to bumper radio preferred. We've been taking care of Valley families and their auto care needs with a perfect Better Business record for over 27 years. Come experience the difference our ASE Master Techs can make for you and your family at Kurt's Auto Repair. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue and Bell Road, or online at mycarhurts.com. Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
KTAR-FM, Glendale, Phoenix. KTAR News on 92.3 FM, Arizona's news station.
KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic now.
It's 11:30. I'm Tom Perumian. Here's our top story. The Trump administration wants to build a 30-foot-high border wall that looks good from the north side and is difficult to climb or cut through on the south side. The specifications were found in a pair of contract notices made public yesterday by Customs and Border Protection. Proposals for the wall are due to be submitted by March 29th. Plans call for a 30-foot-long prototype to go up in San Diego. An expanding investigation into the Marines' nude photo scandal. Curtis Evans, the NCIS division chief, is now asking the hundreds of people who use the sites to come forward to provide information about nude photo leaks.
725 active duty Marines, 150 Marine reservists, 15 active duty Navy, and 310 unidentified individuals.
Military officials confirm more websites have been found following the discovery of the private men-only Facebook page called Marines United. Now let's get a check on traffic. Here's Mike Daniels in the RMEGold.com Traffic Center.
Well, thank you, Tom. We do have an injury accident involving a motorcycle at 59th Avenue and Northern, and the I-17 southbound remains closed right between Dunlap and Glendale due to paving work. Also, the 17 southbound on-ramps closed at Dunlap and Northern. All these closures in effect until 5 a.m. Monday morning. This support brought to you by the Arizona Commemorative Air Force Museum. Get up close and personal with real wartime planes, artifacts, and stories. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Arizona Commemorative Air Force Museum, not just a museum, an experience. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
Clear skies and record highs expected across southern Arizona today. Highs in the mid-90s. Right now it's 84 degrees in Carefree. Weather is brought to you by Howard Air. I'm Tom Perumian on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
The dawn of the U.S. swing starts here, where past, present, and future converge in the desert, paying homage to the founders of the LPGA. March 14th to 19th at the Wildfire Golf Club at JW Marriott Desert Ridge Resort and Spa. General admission tickets just $20 online in advance. Hospitality tickets starting at $35. Good food, cold drinks, and great golf at the 2017 Bank of Hope Founders Cup. Tickets are on sale now at LPGAFoundersCup.com. That's LPGAFoundersCup.com. Get your tickets today. Your seat awaits.
Hi, Lisa Henry with Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty. Have you been thinking maybe the time is right to move, but you're not sure if you have enough equity in your home or if it really is a good time? Well, home values have increased significantly over the past few years, and interest rates are still historically low. For how long? No one knows. But for every 1% increase in the interest rate, the result is about a 10% loss in purchasing power. So it might be a really great time to sell your home and either upsize or downsize to a new home while the interest rates are still low. Contact me via my website at lisareneehenry.com or direct at 480-330-9530 for a no-obligation market valuation on your home and to hear about our global online marketing plan designed to sell your home quickly for top dollar. Again, that's lisareneehenry.com, 480-330-9530. Come experience the difference a truly customer-focused real estate agent can make.
Hi, I'm Kurt Morgan, owner of Shadow Mountain Auto Service in Phoenix. I'm also a college automotive instructor, and I've been a technician for over 30 years. In that time, I've seen all kinds of games and gimmicks in the auto repair business, the worst of which seems to be associated with transmissions. I think it's because, to most, including technicians, the inside of a transmission is a mystery. So when one of our valued customers has a transmission problem, we send them straight to Tri-City Transmission. No games, no gimmicks. That's Tri-City Transmission.
Fix it or forget it. This is the show that'll help you decide what to do with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio here along with Matt Allen. Together we are your KTAR car guys. And let me remind you what Bumper to Bumper Radio is. Bumper to Bumper Radio is a radio show designed to help you feel comfortable about your car and take it to the shop and the repairs and how to maintain it. Bumper to Bumper Radio is also a network of auto repair shops that Matt and I feel very, very comfortable with to send you there to get your car repaired. And one of the things that we see goes wrong in this business is people are orphan customers. And so they just go shop to shop to shop, and they chase coupons because everyone out there is trying to get your resources. You know, they want you to come to their business. So people will they get on that train, and what ends up happening, it's like going to a different pediatrician every time you take your kid to the doctor, and you end up getting instead of bad health care, this is bad car care. And I had a customer that, he's a listener, Tom, came to my shop several months ago, and he said, hey, you guys talk about relationship, I want to try it out. You know, so he brought the car, he's on about his third or fourth visit, and he called me the other day, he said, I'm actually down the street, and my car won't start. What should I do? I said, I'm getting in the car, I'll be right over there. So I drove over. You know, we tried to get his car started and coordinate the towing thing and everything like that. The business he was at had to lock the gates, and so I said, listen, I'll come back by in the morning. I'll try and start it again after it's sat, see if it'll start up. And if not, we'll get a tow truck coming for it. And that's what we did. So we put a starter in his car. And he said, Dave, I didn't really believe what this relationship thing, but I'm a believer in it now, because what would I have done if I didn't have a relationship? So if you guys want a relationship with a good auto repair shop, and you don't have one, go to bumper-to-bumperradio.com. There's shops all over the valley that I would be happy to send you to, so you can have that relationship. That's the first thing to remove stress out of the auto repair process, is a good relationship. You know, you don't want to be pulling your hair out when your car breaks and go, oh, what do I do? What do I do? So anyhow, Matt, we got some phones we got to get to. We got Bob, we got Rose, we got Greg, and we got Jesus. And I think Jesus has been on the longest. He's got a 2004 GMC HD pickup with the 6-liter. What's going on with your truck?
Yeah, my truck, it's got a knock on it, like the lifters. And can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you. Go ahead.
And I took it to a mechanic, and he said he didn't go. He told me to keep driving it because it rides real good. But anyway, what I want you to recommend a shop to me that will diagnose it, and I'm ready to fix it, because I went and priced the new ones, and they're just too expensive.
Jesus,
260,000 miles on it, but it's running good.
What part of town are you in?
I live in Levine.
In Levine.
Like 51st Avenue in Dobbins area.
And where do you work?
I am retired.
Okay. Well, that's even better.
Oh.
Perfect. Well, that's one of those purchases, and to get it diagnosed, you want to have that done right. It's 250,000 miles. I could kind of maybe understand what that other shop said is just drive it. Mm-hmm. At what point do you stop making internal repairs on a 250,000 mile engine?
That's true.
So some of the common failures on those, they lose the cam bearings. Oil pressure goes low. It's a lot of labor to go in there and start replacing those bearings, replace the camshaft, replace the lifters. Mm-hmm. It's not like the older style Chevy where you could pull the heads off and or you didn't have to pull the heads to get to the lifters. Now I'm pretty sure that you do. So I think what that person could have been saying is no harm, no foul. If it blows up, you're going to replace it anyway. But you want to do that on your terms. So any of the shops at bumper-to-bumperradio.com can help you.
And to get it diagnosed, it could be a crack exhaust manifold. That sounds bad.
Exactly.
I've seen that how many times on a 6-liter. Virginia Auto Service, you guys are right there, Central Phoenix. They'll be more than happy to check that out for you.
Yeah.
But a good diagnosis so you can make a good decision other than ignoring something that's easily fixed. And I see that happen. And people, just run it. Well, it would have been a $300 fix that you just turned into a $5,000 fix by ignoring it. So I hate when people do that,
People... even the customers sometimes, I'll just run it into the ground. No, why would you do that? Don't ruin it.
Right.
It's not ruined. We can repair it. And there are some cases where we say, heck, just drive it till she blows.
I'm doing a motor on it's a 2008 F-150, and she's got one of the timing chain tensioners blew a gasket, as we think what's going on behind the timing cover. And so we're pretty confident in our diagnosis. But do we invest? I mean, it's going to be a $3,000 repair to go in there and put in new, phasers and chain and tension and all that stuff. Do we invest in this motor with 154,000 miles, or do we look at replacing it? So, we do some oil pressure tests and things like that to get it. But she's got to make the decision. Are you keeping this car for another 10 years? Well, maybe we do. But that's the discussion that needs to happen after a good diagnosis.
And you can have good discussions with people that you have good relationships with, too. Isn't how this all ties together? So, Jesus, we'd be more than happy to look at that at my shop at Virginia Auto Service, or, again, anybody on the bumper-to-bumper deal on the website can help you. Probably start with an oil pressure well, first we want to hear it ourselves, and then probably an oil pressure test, gather some data, and help you make a good decision.
It's funny when people say, hey, can you come look at my noise? You can't see a noise. Anyway, 602-277-5827. Let's go with Greg in Chandler. He has a 2005 Dodge Dakota. How can we help you, Greg? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
How you doing, guys?
Fantastic.
Good. Hey, I'm having issues with not with the air conditioner itself, but I guess you can say the actuator or the blend door or something. If I turn the air on, I get this click, 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 clicking noise, and I don't have any air coming out of the vents.
Where is it coming out? Is it coming out up by the dash or down by your feet?
Up by the dash. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's actually, you can put your hand on the vent, you can feel the cold air, but there's no cold air blowing out. Like I'm saying, that the actuator, I guess that's what it's. Do you know how many actuators there are on that 05 Dodge? Is there one or two?
Well, there's probably several. I mean, there's going to be there's going to be a mode door, which is what mode are you in: defrost, heat, floor, vent. And then there will be a blended door, which blends the hot and the cold. So sometimes the motor goes bad, and some of the Dodges, although I don't believe it was the Dakota, more of the Rams had problems with the box or the door itself breaking. And that's one of those things. You can buy some expensive parts and put them on and not fix the problem or cause some other problems. Saw one of those in the BBB the other day, some weird actuator deals.
Yeah, we did actually see that.
So that's something you want to have a professional check. And, down in your neighborhood in Chandler, you want to see Greg at ADS, Automotive Diagnostics Specialties. Is a good shop if you don't have one in the Chandler area.
And one of the ways we're diagnosing things anymore is these cars come more along with the technologies that we're talking about. We can actually command the door. You just turn the door. We're going to actuate it, go to 100% open or 100% closed or 50% and verify where that noise is coming from. But it's one of those things where to get to the door may not be very easy, or the actuator. So you're pulling it out, and that actuator may be fine, but you're saying, Matt, the door, the flapper in the ductwork can be actually broken itself.
Yeah, they strip the gear in the motor, and you put the new motor in and strip that one too because the door's bound up. So it's not always as it seems.
All right. Thanks so much for the call, Greg. 602-277-5827. Let's go with Bob in Phoenix. He's got a 2013 Hyundai Sonata with some sort of air condition question. It's pretty nice out. Just roll the windows down, Bob.
Not at my age.
You'd be sneezing all day.
Here's the problem. I bought a 13, bought it new. The air worked great. I bought the extended warranty, and then last year, around July, it wasn't blowing good, so I took it into the dealer. They pulled 0.8 pounds of a refrigerant out of it. The specs are 1.16 to actually 1.27. So then they drained it, they filled it up, worked great, but then they put some dye detector in it. So in September last year, now it's starting to blow, not really nice like it was when it was new. So I brought it in, they put gauges on, they said, well, the gauges are showing it's good. Okay, it's another year. I'm going in next week, and this problem's getting old like me. And I want to know, my questions are, what should this, well, first of all, can low freon damage my compressor? And the second question is, what should this dealer be doing for me in regard to fixing this? Because this is the third time now I'm going in.
Sure. Well, the gauges don't show you anything but pressure. So part of it is going to be perception, and oftentimes reality is perception or perception is reality. If it's not cold enough for you, it is not cold enough. What we would do at my shop, we're going to bring that car back in. We're going to evacuate what was in there. We're going to measure it again. Let's see what comes out. We know they put a full charge in it last time. If they pull out a full charge, well, then it's a full charge. It's good. If it's not, there's a leak somewhere. They need to try and find the leak. And the dye does not always find the leak. Mm-hmm. We'll have to have an AC show coming up, Dave, with the weather going to be changing. AC, too, is a lot of times a two-step repair. The very first time you go in and say, it's just not as cold as it should be, and we charge and service that air conditioner, it's low because something leaked out.
Mm-hmm.
Those leaks are very difficult to find. Very precise equipment to try and sniff or find the leaks, or using the ultraviolet dye. That's the second repair. So then it ends up sometimes a third one. AC can be tough, but they ought to be able to give you some real data and fix that for you. And speaking of Hyundai, they just recalled I think 978,000 vehicles for seatbelt issues. So if you're out there cruising around on this Saturday morning in your Hyundai, you might want to double check and see if you're on that recall list. You'll probably get something in the mail. And we've posted something on our Facebook page. You can find us on Facebook at Bumper to Bumper Radio or bumpertobumperradio.com. Follow the Facebook link.
We've got Peggy and we've got Rose, and maybe time for a couple more at 602-277-5827. We'll be right back. You're listening to Matt and Dave, your KTAR Car Guys on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at AccurateAutomotiveAZ.com today.
Here's what Carrie from Tempe had to say about her experience with Good Works Auto Repair.
As soon as you realize, I need to get some work done on my car, I'm sure the thought occurs to you that you're about to get taken for a ride. I used to share the same sentiment and wondered if the shop was going to make something up and have me spending hundreds of dollars instead of $30 I was planning on for a simple oil change. This is one of the reasons I will only go to Good Works Auto Repair. Because I trust them. Putting trust in an auto shop didn't come easily. It's been built over several visits with them doing exactly what was needed, not coercing me into unnecessary work. Ask them for an oil change and a safety inspection, they do just that. No baloney, list of filters, belts, and whatchamacallits that need replacing on my new car. Thank you, Good Works Auto Repair, for being there for me when I need you.
Appreciate the kind words. It's always a pleasure. Glenn Hayward here. Come experience what award-winning auto service should be. Good Works Auto Repair in Tempe, or visit us at goodworksautorepair.com.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Here we go, Dave. We've got our last little segment here of Bumper to Bumper Radio. We've got some calls loaded up.
Rose, Robert, Peggy, and let's get Rose has been on here for a little while. Let's go with Rose.
We're going to go with Rose. What line is Rose on? She's
line
on
3.
3.
Hello.
Rose.
How can we help you, Rose? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. What's going on with your Camry?
Oh, gosh, I'm so glad to talk to you guys. I listen to you all the time. Never dreamed I'd have to call you.
Well, we're glad you called, and we're glad you listened. Thank you.
Okay, great. I've taken my car to this one Firestone place for a long, long time. I've been very satisfied with them until recently. And I had was $550 where they replaced it a premium gasket, a cover gasket, another cover gasket, and a spark plug tube seal. Mm-hmm. I'm still having an oil leak. And so I took it back, and they said there isn't anything they can do with it, that I need a front crank seal and a main rear seal, that's where the leak is coming from, and they don't do that, and it probably cost me over $1,000 to have that done.
Okay.
It scared me to death. I'm a widow, and I'm trying to...
Rose,
right.
Sure.
What?
You're in the Phoenix area?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, probably what's happened, for the future, if you have a computer, you can go on bumpertobumperradio.com.
I don't know how to use it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give myself a shameless plug. Virginia Auto Service. If you're in the Central Phoenix area, I'd love to help you with your car. But let's talk about what happened. Probably took the car in. Maybe you noticed that you had an oil leak, and maybe you didn't. We talked about leaks. I think it was last week, right, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
Valve cover gasket.
I'm surprised you remember that.
Valve cover gasket's a common leak, and maybe you had there might have been a lot of oil under the car. That's one of the problems that we see when we have an oil leak. I mean, imagine the doctor in the ER. You come in from a car accident, there's blood everywhere. You got to get it cleaned up and start with the most obvious, and maybe that's what happened with that car. What you had was some valve cover gaskets, an intake plenum gasket, because you have to take the intake manifold off to access that. So they've probably done that and then gone back and cleaned it up. We need to make sure that the car is clean underneath. Pressure wash it, and then we would do an oil dye test, or simply just sit there and let the car run until we can start seeing it leak oil. So I believe they did fix a leak for you. It's just the next ones, and it could be very expensive. You have to do the rear main seal. The transmission has to come out of the car. The front seal, now we're going to start talking about doing the timing belt, assuming it's a V6, which based on the description of the repairs, it is a V6. We're going to start getting into the timing belt possibly, depending on when that maintenance was done. So it very well could be expensive, but we also talked about the leaks. Let's quantify them and see, do they warrant even fixing them? But it sounds like Rose already said she still has the leak, so maybe she's seeing something or smelling something.
Well, Rose, you can find Virginia Auto Service if you just – can you still call information? What the heck is your phone number, Matt?
602-266-0200, Virginia Auto Service.
Well, they'll make you. It's scary, and they'll make you feel better about it, and that's what really needs to happen. Understanding makes us feel better. So anyhow, we got to get to Peggy in Gilbert. She's got a 2007 Honda Element. How can we help you, Peggy? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
My issue is having a noise, and it only happens when the weather turns warm. It does not happen in the winter. It's not the AC, because if I turn the AC off, it doesn't happen. It's constant, and at 55 it starts, and it goes, if I go up to 75, it's just absolutely constant.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving right now, and I think that it comes, you asked someone else, I believe it comes under the dash. I took it to Honda, had them take a look at it. They have not been able to diagnose it for years.
Is that noise we're hearing in the background? Is that
yes, and I was going to...
I would crack the window and see if the noise changes.
No.
It sounded like it changed.
It sounded like it changed it. Have you had a windshield replaced in this vehicle?
Well, actually, I did have that issue a long time ago, and it was the windshield. This one is a lot louder, and it's a lot a deeper sound.
Okay.
I did have the windshield issue, but this is different.
Okay.
It's nothing you can't fix by turning the radio up, I'm sure.
Turn the radio louder, you'll never hear it again. Just crank up the tunes. Well,
when I took it to Honda, he thought it was a bumper, not a bumper like you would traditionally think of, but inside when you lift the hood, there's a little cowl.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call it that, like an airplane.
Sure.
But he thought that would be loose, and air was getting underneath, like you would blow on the top of a bottle or paper, if you or grass. And it was air coming across something, but he looked at that and it's like, well, your vehicle doesn't even have that. It's an older vehicle. So I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, the reason I said crack the window, Matt, was because sometimes we get these noises because we're pressurizing and it's not venting like it should, or the recirculation isn't working. So even just changing from recirc to fresh air on your air conditions, see if the noise goes away. She's saying, I don't think it's anything to do with that, and it may not be. But when it goes from 50 to 70, I'm starting to think about an air noise, airflow over the vehicle.
You know what's funny though? We were talking yesterday about having to process information very fast, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
Dave and I were having a personal conversation. Now, when she started talking about the noise, we knew what kind of car it was. How many different scenarios ran through your head before we figured out? I mean, did you? I thought wheel bearing, but then as she described,
Yep.
no, I already got that one. And
I was on wheel bearing too.
Then I was at rear drive shaft for the all-wheel drive because those go bad on the element. And then went in and out of that one. Then I heard that noise. I'm like, that's wind noise.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the noise, So we're here rapidly going boom, boom, boom through these items. I just thought
It was funny though when she rolled
up.
the window down, she didn't think it changed, but you and I both heard it change.
It seemed to be, yeah. It's so I would do things like turn on the windshield wipers.
Mm-hmm.
It just changing the airflow over the car a little bit. Does that change it? I still think if you had a front-end collision ever in the car, somebody needs to be looking at that.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure everything is in place. Make sure the cowling is down. All those little funny I don't need that piece of extra trim there. That's just, the factory put it there for no reason.
Remember the Dodge commercials from '92? We don't allow our trucks to whistle where they work, and the guy slides a little thing over the antenna. That was a big deal back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of that stuff underneath, there is plastic, things that direct airflow underneath the car. So something could be missing. There could be something wrong there. So good luck with that. You're just going to have to find a technician who's willing to take that thing for a drive. And
That might be a good body shop type of
Yeah, body shop type thing. Kevin and I-17 collision, someone you think about on that. We're going to have to sneak somebody in here, and this person has got to be real quick. So I'm thinking Oscar and Mesa. How quickly can you go, Oscar? 2008 Chrysler Town and Country.
Yeah, how you doing, guys?
Fantastic.
Hey, I had a quick question. So last night I'm coming on the 60. I had to do a quick hard stop. I broke real fast. And then once I continued on, the brake indicator, the ABS indicator, the stabilizer light, and then another light that says like AP, BAP, all four on the cluster are now on. Can I get your comment on that?
I don't know, Matt. I think when we got in that panic stop, man, we fired up that ABS system, and it maybe hadn't worked in a while, and maybe that's what tripped something. These things are self-testing, so they should find problems even when you're not using it. But
well,
still,
kind of. I mean, if you have a wheel speed sensor or something like that, if he gets into a little panic stop situations, that ABS pump hasn't turned on since the car was new because it's never been in a skid before, and all of a sudden something gets activated. So there's going to be a code set there. It's a matter of someone that's got the right diagnostic equipment, go in, retrieve the code, do a couple tests, sort it out for you. Who knows what the repair is, though.
Well, thanks, Bree, for running the tiles. Thanks, Carrie, for keeping us on point. And this week we talked about the cost of auto repair. We started to get there. Next week, Matt is going to be telling you all about some of the common repairs, what you can expect. That way, when the auto shop calls you, you don't have a heart attack because it's outside of your expectations. So he's going to help you with your expectations as far as what it should cost. BumperToBumperRadio.com. We'll see you next week.